saying, yo, what's the word, everyone? Welcome to the Sunday Fun Day with Must Be Two Sides. I am your host, Max Sauce, the dopest of them all.
When my mic come on, you sitting with Carmen from Detroit Table Talk Saturdays at 5 o'clock.
Miss Carmen.
Hey, you sitting with your girl Maria.
And it is I, your auntie's favorite nephew, but you can call me Woo.
Y'all so funny this week. How y'all doing? This Cash App, man.
And we have
Go ahead. You gonna introduce me?
we have a special guest today. Very special guest. The world-renowned, internationally known, Mr. Eddie Conner Jr.
Honored to be here.
Doctor.
Yeah, we gotta put that
Doctor.
Respect the
Please
title,
put some
man.
respect on his name.
Respect the title.
Doctor.
Didn't do all that schooling for no reason.
No,
Yeah.
you feel me?
Mr. Wood.
Yeah.
Come on, Miss. You got to put the phone on vibrate.
That ain't
That's
me.
you. That's you.
Oh, it is me.
See?
I'm like, that's
Okay.
I had
So-
to get on here.
Before we get started, wait, sir, is it sir, Mr.? What do you prefer to be?
He's
Doctor.
Doctor.
Dr. Eddie, a lot of people call me, so
Okay. Well,
whatever's clever.
Dr. Eddie, before we get started, I gotta ask a question, and this will determine how this interview goes. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Oh yeah, we've done our research. Don't worry. It's fresh out of the research department.
Yeah, man, that's a toss-up question. Y'all trying to be tricky, I get you. I'm an MJ fan, but Prince is my cousin, man. So I gotta side with Prince. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta go for the home team.
I gotta go with the home team on that one.
I get it.
That's a good question.
That's a political correct.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's a
saying?
piece,
It's-
See, he gave
if I didn't, it's gonna start purple raining. So
That was the PC question, PC answer, but it's cool. We know.
I can't moonwalk away from that one. You know.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
All right. So tell us what prompted you to start writing, because you have a lot of books.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I never wanted to be a writer. So, I know the show is two sides to it. So I guess it is two sides to my story, with the fact that I went through a tough ordeal as a kid battling cancer, stage 4 cancer I was diagnosed with as a teen. And I thought it was over for me. I thought I was getting ready to really take my last few breaths. And I was raised in a single parent household, and my father's not there, you know what I'm saying, and never visited me one day in the hospital. I'm having these chest pains as a kid, and in high school, my favorite 2 classes in school were gym and lunch.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I love to chase the girls in gym, sit down, eat with them at lunch, and I'm having these chest pains. And as us as men, as boys, becoming men, we're told don't talk about your pain. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Crying is for girls. Mm-hmm. And so I held all the stress inside, and I get a diagnosis, can't breathe by halftime watching a football game. His mother takes me to the hospital. My friend's mother takes me to the hospital. My mom meets me there, and they do a CT scan of the chest. They see they need to take me to surgery immediately. And they find out there's a tumor growing, and wound up being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Mm-hmm. And doctor says, hey, chemo, radiation. It was so aggressive, the cancer was growing around my vocal cords. Mm-hmm. And so, I came out of that by the grace of God, a praying mama. My father never visited me one day in the hospital. People I thought were praying for me, literally praying on me. Mm-hmm. But I was able to beat those obstacles. 2023 marks 23 years being cancer free.
Bless.
So that's a blessing to find the can of cancer. And so I'm literally years later sitting with $1 and dreaming of my name in a dorm room with Eastern Michigan. My mom was giving me a call on my dorm phone. No, not a cell phone. And she's like, you need to write your story. I'm like, no, I'm not writing my story. I don't even want to be a writer, much less what would I even write about? How am I going to go about doing it? I'm embarrassed about what I had gone through. Mm-hmm. She said, your story's not for you, it's for somebody else. And so little did I know, after procrastinating for so long, shout out to my mama, Dr. Janice Conner. Yeah. As I was writing, I was healing. I had a lot of bitterness towards my father, bitterness about the situation, and writing became therapeutic for me. And I wrote my first book called Finding the Can in Cancer. Mm-hmm. And so I sit here now, 16 books. And I never wanted to do what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know what you go through that's painful can eventually become purposeful. Yeah.
So how old were you when you were diagnosed?
15.
15.
Yeah.
And you never had any prior
Health conditions.
symptoms or anything
No.
like that?
No, not at all. I was an athlete. You know, I grew up, was running cross country, playing varsity basketball. You know, I had more Butterfingers than blueberries, more Skittles than strawberries, but that's about it. So I was pretty relatively healthy kid.
God worked in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What are the pros? I see you're a motivational speaker also. So what are the pros and cons of that for you?
I think it's the only con would be, you know, sometimes you're getting a little nervous. You know, Eminem would say palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. You know, so you try not to show, you know, that you are nervous. But I think nervousness is good because it shows you, hey, you know, I don't think I got this all in the bag. I'm not coming in cocky and prideful.
Yeah.
This is about the people, not about me. And so relying on God to give you the strength, to give you the right word at the right time for the right people who are there. And then I think the pros is the travel. You know, I've been able to literally go around the world and speak and share, whether it's at churches or conferences, community centers, colleges, and just share my message and be received pretty well. So that's a good thing. And then here's the thing, be invited back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's important.
You know, that's important, you know? So that's the main thing.
So I see August 5th we have a conference coming up.
Facts, yeah.
Want to get off into it?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, August 5th, Access Identity Conference. I've been wanting to do a conference for years. And I think 2023 is a year of now or never for me. And I came into that year with this mindset. I did the TD Jakes conference. I saw it was about 50,000
That's
people
what I'm
there.
thinking. Like you said, you never done a conference. Now,
Well, my
I
own.
remember you. Oh, okay.
Oh, so this is your own.
Yeah, this is my own. This is my baby now.
First annual.
Yeah.
But that was a great springboard.
Yeah.
TD Jakes, come on now.
Yeah, great springboard. I had about 1,500 people in my session, and I was nervous for sure, but I had a rocket for sure. I was like, "Hey, I'm coming from the D. I got to make it do what it do." And so, but I'm doing one here. You know, everybody flies around the country to go to everybody's conference, and generally conferences are imported here.
Right.
But I want to do one from the turf, from the ground, grassroots level. I'm a son of the city, east side of Detroit, but I'm doing this at Focus Hope. It's called the Access Identity Conference, Saturday, August 5th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Yeah. Access Identity Conference is really all about ideas, impact, and influence. I believe somebody's waiting for you to become who you are so they can become who they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Here's the question. How long will you make them wait?
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so no more delay, no more denial. Now's the time to be determined. And I'm giving people strategy, structures, substantive solutions to really take your vision to the next level. It's emerging ministry in the marketplace. It's connecting kingdom and community. It's all about Detroit. It's all about really your vision and knowing that you can bloom where you're planted. Here's the beautiful thing. Right now, if you go to accessidentity.org and put in the code at checkout, access, you get $50 off for registration. So you'd only be registering for a low rate of just $47. And then another thing, we got people
Just got
coming.
my registration.
Oh, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Shout out to Carmen Evans. Thank you so much. We got people coming from 10 different states and then internationally from the UK and Jamaica. So far. And we've only been promoting the conference for just 2.5 weeks.
That's good.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so it'll be a great networking experience, not just with Detroiters, but from people all over the world, not even just the country.
Right.
So it's going to be an amazing, amazing experience.
Who was your overseer?
My pastor, Pastor Homer Jameson, over at Jameson Temple, where I'm a member there.
Okay.
Okay. Absolutely. Shout out to him, Connor and Mac. Jameson Temple, y'all got to come and pay a visit, 10:30 a.m. every Sunday.
Okay.
Now, are you ordained?
I am. I'm one of the associate ministers
Okay.
over there.
Nice.
So with you having 16 books, are you working on number 17? Are you working on it?
Ooh, you rushing me, bro.
I know he just got to.
I'm dropping 2 this year. You trying to make me do 3?
Hey, the Trinity, got it.
Right there, right there. You go. There you go. Come on, say a word, Reverend. It is Pentecost Sunday, so.
Man, I miss church.
Well,
And he is in white, so is it?
yeah, Jameson, you go to Jameson Church, 10:30 on Sundays.
Okay.
I need to go myself. So another question. Any ups and downs? I know we talk about pros and cons of being a motivational speaker, but what do you have? Do you have like ups for it? Like, what is your best or your biggest accomplishment from doing it that you would say?
Biggest accomplishment from doing it, I would say, it's kind of in conjunction with some of my community work. I received the President Barack Obama Volunteer Service Award, as well as the President Barack Obama Lifetime Achievement Award from the White House. Yeah, so that's a major accomplishment. There's been a lot of media opportunities. Been on the Steve Harvey TV show, BET, and ABC and NBC, and some of the other alphabet networks.
We can't forget Fox too. They right next door to us.
Right, facts. I was just on there last Monday. Shout out to my guy Jay Towers. Did a great interview with him, and so it's been just a lot of great exposure. Just being able to share the message and just empower people, meet them where they are, and be transparent, be relatable, and connect to them. Regardless of race, creed, color, and background.
Who were some of your mentors?
Some of my mentors, actually, I got to give him a call back. He called me while I was coming in here. Shout out to Mr. Jay Melton, who's a great businessman.
Okay.
Yeah. Out of Ypsilanti, owns his own cleaners, and former Eastern Michigan University grad like myself. My former principal, I got to give him a shout out as well.
What high school?
Ferndale High.
Ferndale.
Yeah, Ferndale High. So I'm trying to think of some other mentors of mine. Like I got a lot of virtual mentors. Definitely my pastor, of course. Who's a mentor of mine as well, Pastor Jameson.
At what point in your life did you realize that you had a gift on your life to, one, minister, and then two, to be a blessing to other people as far as being a motivational speaker?
I would say a few years coming out of cancer. I actually did my first message / speech with cancer in my body. I grew up in Jamaica for some time, and my doctors were tell my mom, he said, hey, take Eddie somewhere. He's been getting bouts of chemo and radiation. I mean, I had a bald head and just totally discombobulated and dejected. And she took me to Jamaica, and the pastor friend of ours there, he said, hey, I want you to do the message on Sunday. And I'm there on vacation for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And it was called Destined to Overcome the Odds. And, I was a nervous wreck doing the message. I probably would not want to go back and look at any video footage if there was any. But I saw how the people took to it. They embraced me. And then some years later, I got some opportunities speaking for the American Cancer Society. It was where I was kind of getting my first leg of speaking and things of that nature. And it just kind of snowballed from there to where I said, you know what, this feels good for me. It feels kind of just right, me sharing my story. And I felt as if the more I talked about it, the more I healed from it. Because I had a lot of trauma as a result of it. And when you're fighting for your life as you're starting your life and all of the other psychological debilitating thoughts, that's where I said, you know what, I think this is the purpose for me. And, I've been trucking ever since with it.
When you heard that you had cancer, was there a time in your life that you had to look around at the people around you and maybe like walk away from some people? You know how like when you're sick, there's only a certain amount of people you want around you, people that are speaking the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Did you have people around you that was, sitting like, woe is you, and what you gonna do? Did you have to dismiss those people so that your spirits can stay up?
Yeah, I think my mom did a lot of that, but even, as a kid, they just fell off. You know, and I think cancer is, when you're a kid, you don't really know too much about it. And a lot of kids will treat you like it's modern day leprosy. You know, if I'm around you, if you cough, if you talk, it's airborne. You know what I mean? And so I was automatically isolated. I was automatically just kind of just by myself. It was just me and my mother. And I was so sick that I didn't even want anybody to see me. I remember the late great Kobe Bryant signed a hat for me. I still have it to this day from Make-A-Wish Foundation. This was when he was wearing number 8. Okay. You know, and he wrote a little message about keep going, stay, you know, there's a champion in you. And so I realized, because I felt that I just wanted to give up. It was really my mother who fought for me to where I began to fight for myself.
It's a blessing.
Yeah. And she told me, hey, everybody gets knocked down in life, but knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down. Challenges create champions. And so having to muster up that determination with faith in God and just look at every single day, all right, I'm one day treatment closer to total healing. You know, I hated getting chemo. I hated getting radiation. It was nauseous and all that stuff. Stuff you go through you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. But I had to say, all right, I'm one day closer to the next level, to getting out of here, to never returning again, to being totally healed. And that's the mindset I had to approach.
And that's a dope ass mindset to have. A lot of people would just fall under that pressure and just crumble to the weight of it. But to have your mama and to have God in your corner like that and to persevere through that, that's amazing, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen, don't discount a praying mama now.
Oh, fact.
I did.
And I think, you know, and that's one of the things I was thinking about actually before I came here. And I'm just talking about Detroit for right now, but it's all over the country. We are having some serious issues, you know, going on. And in my mind, I was thinking, like, we need the Welling women to step up. And I'm not discounting the men, you know, because I understand there's power when men pray too. But it's a difference when a mother and a woman pray. There's a different kind of, you know, prayer, a tone, you know, a plead with God.
Anointing,
and I just, you know, I don't know, but I know we need to get the women together to pray, because these young folks out here,
they
living
outside,
recklessly.
man. You know,
They outside.
They outside. They just got to reel them in.
I got a 2-part question for you, Mr. Connor. Okay, the first question is, how do you motivate people not to be lazy? And then my second question is, do you talk to your peers or friends or family different than you talk to people that you, like, as far as in peers, when you do like motivational speeches? Is it a difference when you talk to them?
I would say it's kind of on the same level. I mean, a friend of mine was calling me, asking me about relationships, and a particular young lady he's dating, this, that, and the other. And, you know, I'm not going to be as theatrical and, you know, bullying and all that stuff as if I'm in a crowd when I'm on the phone or just talking to him one-on-one, whatever the case may be. But the message stays the same. You know, the method may be different, but the message is going to be all the same about, you know, knowing your value and your worth and seeing how does this person fit into your future and what are your specific goals? Where do you see yourself in life? You know, who do you want coming with you? Developing that why and knowing who it is that you are. I would say for people who are lazy, so to speak, I think it is that I was one of those who would have been classified as lazy. But what I had to do is I had to find my particular genius. You know, what is your particular motive genius? What is your passion? What is it that wakes you up in the morning? Yes, we're glad that God does it, but beyond your alarm clock.
Absolutely.
You know, when you find that passion and purpose, you're not going to be lazy with it because this is what you enjoy doing. You know, a job is what you're paid for. Your purpose and your calling is what you're made for. And so I think when people really develop and discover that inner zone of genius, they won't be bouncing to where Monday I want to be a nurse. Tuesday I want to be a lawyer. You know, so on and so on. You know, you'll be able to really hone in and focus on what it is that you want to do. And it'll be work, but it won't feel like work.
So it'll be something that you can do if you wasn't getting paid.
Facts, yeah, totally
So
right.
the money wouldn't make a difference.
Right, yeah. You know, they can't pay me to speak. They can't pay me to write. You know, they can pay me a little bit, but it's never going to be to the value of what it is, because it took years for me to give you a message in 30 minutes. You know, you can't pay for that pain and the lesson that I gained from it.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
When it came to having cancer at a young age, how did it affect your mental health?
Oh man, before I even knew about mental health and emotional intelligence, all that, I was totally dejected. I wanted to give up. I was depressed. I was discombobulated. I had suicidal thoughts. I felt as if, I was going to take my life before cancer did. I couldn't be around my own peers. When you're 15 years old, identity crisis is everything. Yeah. You're trying to fit in. You want to be around the crowd, and everybody's wondering, "Yo, where are you at?" And I'm lying to kids, talking about, "Hey, I'm transferred to a school or whatever the case may be." I'm not telling them I had that. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so,
wow. So you had to lie for a period of time?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I ain't proud about it, but I felt like I had to do what I had to do because I didn't want that word to spread like wildfire. And then, more so, I felt it would spread versus there would be consideration and concern and real care. I didn't want to be the talk of the town about a disease or fighting for my life. So I just really had to muster up hope. And I see mental health now, looking back at it. You can't spell mental health without men heal. Yeah. Think about that. And there were some things that I had to heal from. I had to forgive a father. I had to see myself as more than a diagnosis. What I went through didn't define me. It refined me. I had to understand that there's greatness on the inside of me despite the situation of what it is that I'm going through right now. So I got revelation out of my situation in the midst of the cancer crisis.
Were you healing at the same time you were dealing with the issues with your father? And do you think that played a role in your physical healing?
Yeah, I think me healing while I was going through cancer emotionally and spiritually did lead to the physical healing. I really do, because, bitterness is a cancer in and of itself.
Exactly.
And I had to forgive him when he never gave me an apology. When your father doesn't show up for you in your time of crisis, when you're literally fighting for your life, my earthly father, but I'm grateful for my heavenly father. Yeah. Scripture says, when father forsake you, the Lord will take you up. And so having that mindset, and then having my grandfather and my grandmother and other people who would come in, that my mother deemed were speaking life into my life, to sow positive seeds into my life and really, cause me to think positively and fight. I think that became the turnaround for me.
Have you ever connected with your father after that?
Oh, yeah. There's no acrimony. We're kind of amicable.
Okay.
But there's no real relationship that's substantive.
Okay.
We'll get on the phone every so often. He'll call me on a birthday, a holiday, or whatever the case may be. But, it's nothing substantive beyond talk about sports or something like that.
So it's surfacey.
Yeah.
When did you accept the calling for ministry?
I knew it at 12. I would say I really started accepting it early 20s, right around probably the time I went to college. That's when I started accepting it. To say, all right, I'm not going to run from it. I'll embrace it. Yeah, I'll run to it. Right.
So was it hard walking into that calling, being in college and the worldly about college, where we know what everybody wants to go to college and have fun and do this, but if you're walking into a calling, you're separated.
Yeah, and I wasn't always the best in college, I'll tell you that much. But I would say
college was boring to me. No.
Oh yeah, I had fun in college.
They didn't give her no invites.
It was boring because I was saved at that time. So they looked at me like the square kid.
So you
So y'all need to bring y'all Bibles to that party.
Right.
Sometimes you still gotta experience life with that. Yeah. Like, I'm hearing him talk, and it's just like, okay, Lord, I was supposed to be here. I hear you. Okay.
That's what happened.
I know better. You know what I'm saying? And when you know better and you in the predicaments and you in the situation I'm in, I totally understand. Because I don't talk about it, but I've been an ordained minister since I was
Oh, word.
17 years old.
Oh, see, I knew you had a preach in you.
And
That's why he only goes so far with his foolishness.
Exactly. He will not let you go too far. Yeah.
but
You
the
can
thing
run, but
is,
you
I don't
can't
really, I don't. It's never been a whole trying to hide. It's always been the run, because my ministry is a tad bit different than everybody else. I'm responsible for everybody. And I've always been responsible for everybody. Like when I got shot, when I got shot, I was managing my little brothers at the time, and it just stopped everything. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, God has a way of talking to us.
Still here, brother.
He does.
It's not just surviving, but thriving. It's a testimony,
So,
ministry, and
Facts, though.
When talk about healing, this right here, there must be two sides. It is my ministry,
Yes.
That's good. It's good.
and
And don't ever say, don't have me up in here crying. Okay?
man, because this wasn't.
Sunday fun day. I try to tell you. Try to tell you.
The spirit is high.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You know,
Healing in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Got you, bro.
man,
Yeah.
different. But to hear somebody else's testimony and to know, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I went down at 22. I'm a gunshot victim. But had I not been where I was, circumstances would be different. So to really hear from somebody else that didn't put themselves in that situation and still be able to push forward correctly, it's appreciated. You know, I use my own situation to help everybody else, but it's always to who's there to help me. And just for you to be here for these, you know what I'm saying, 20 minutes, I appreciate it.
That means a lot, brother.
It's appreciated because when you always strong for other people, who is really there to be strong for you? And, you know, I appreciate the church and I appreciate the background, but we living in a new time. And, you know, I tell Miss Carmen all the time, I love her because I know this is one of them women who sit back. These is one of them praying mothers that we need. But it's also those of us like myself who have to actually be in the trenches to get other people to understand what's going on. Everything ain't peachy keen. Everybody don't make it to these identity access type conferences because their mindset isn't there yet. But for me, it's just that pull on that tug on I'm here and I'm here, but I need to find my middle. So, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's, I wasn't expecting this episode to be like that, but I definitely appreciate it.
He will move.
Yeah.
He would change the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's always easier said than done, you know, and it's not until you in the situation where you have to constantly pray and ask God to give you a strategic plan for your life. You know, what I had to go through may not be what the next man or woman had to go through. So God definitely walks us through, you know, and I was telling you some weeks ago when God told me to write the book, I didn't want to write it because of some of the things that I had to go through in my life. And I was actually I was a teacher at the time, and I was talking to one of my co-teachers, and we were just talking, you know, we would get to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. We wouldn't leave till like 8 or 9 at night. Because even after our children were gone, we would stay and grade our paper, and we would just have fellowship. And I was talking to her about something, and she said, Miss Evans, you just need to write the book. I said, girl, I've been working on that book for 4 years. I really wasn't working on it. I would pick it up every blue moon, you know, add a couple of words and say, I'm working on it. But after she really talked to me, she said, you've been through so much in life. And as I sat there, that's when, the title came. Life happens. It happens to all of us. So it's not about, what happened. It's how, or the next step that God gives you to get through it.
Okay, I got a question for everybody. What affirmations do y'all tell yourself in the morning? Do you tell yourself anything motivational in the morning?
I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Because each day, being a single mom, you have to have strength to get through the day when, I lost my mom, and I'm the only child, so it's not a lot around my circle. So that's my biggest affirmation because, it's a struggle getting through sometimes.
One of the first things I tell myself in the morning, and this may be trivia, and it started out as a joke. I wake up and I'd be like, girl, get up. And, quite naturally, it was like, girl, you got to get out this bed. You got to get to work. But it wasn't until later when I realized God gave me that, because of what I was battling spiritually, So every morning, that's the first thing I say, girl, get up. So no matter what I go through, you got to get up and move. You can't stay where you at. You can't, whether it's physically or spiritually, you got to get up and move. So once I, tell myself, girl, get up, I get to the mirror and I have like little sticky notes on my bathroom window, different scriptures or different sayings. And I end up quoting some of those things that, I am the woman that God has called me to be. My life will be impactful to other people. It is a lot of stuff I say. So, I ain't gonna go out because I got a whole list.
I was listening to the list. I wasn't expecting to get to me so fast. Honestly, man, I'm gonna keep it G with y'all. I've been feeling stagnant in place for a minute. I don't tell myself no affirmations in the morning. The best thing I can tell myself is just figure this shit out day by day. Stop worrying about tomorrow. Because one thing I learned about myself is I like to plan ahead, and it don't never go the way I be wanting it to go. And it's out of my control. And I've learned that much about myself so far. Like, I can't control everything. So I can't even really give you a real answer on that one. Other than keep it shit going, figure it out day by day, that's the only thing I can tell myself. Because I don't know.
So that's one of your affirmations. Keep going.
Mine is be better than yesterday. You got to just be better than yesterday. Because going through this with this wheelchair in these times, like he said, it's just... See, he had cancer. I had cancerous friends.
Come on.
And there's going to be a couple people who going to watch this and they going to feel a certain type of way. But when we look up now and we in our 30s and I'm having the kind of issues that I'm having that y'all know I'm having, and y'all not there, and y'all still tugging at me. It's a cancer. I'm pouring into you, and there's nothing being poured back. And I'm really starting to notice now, like he said, for me, it's not even about the stagnant anymore. It's about who I got around and what's the purpose. Because I've gotten to a point now to where God has actually revealed, like, yeah, you be letting people use you. And it's becoming your own fault.
Yeah, that's
because
when we take on them false burdens.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times you gonna keep letting these people lightweight play with you? And I'm showing you something different, and you still keep trying to go back and pull them up. It's time for you to cut that off. That's a cancer. You have to let that go. So it's basically about letting today be better than tomorrow.
That's good.
Mine's is I'm just trying to see tomorrow. And I say that because no matter what I go through during the day, whatever goes on, as long as I see tomorrow or have a chance to see my son, everything else can fall to the wayside or it won't matter as much. Because that's a motivation for me to get up to make sure he's good or, everything else. And also, no matter what I go through, somebody's going through something worse. So that's another thing for me. So it's always motivation to say just pray about it, but also just keep moving. So.
Yeah. I would say for me it's kind of like a mixture of an affirmation and a determination with the mindset of course I tell myself I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, and hey, I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise. It's going to be the best day of my life. You know, some of those types of thoughts. I don't say it necessarily every day, but it just becomes a mindset for me.
Okay. What's an uncomfortable part of your job? What's the most uncomfortable part?
Uncomfortable part of my job. I think I got comfortable with being uncomfortable, and that is the late hours of just working. You know, a lot of times I'm burning the candle at both ends, up early, you know, up late. Don't always get a lot of rest. But, you know, I think the determination is kind of the engine for me to say, all right, just keep going. So a lack of rest sometimes can be a little uncomfortable for me because I do like to sleep in.
Don't we all?
But you know what I'm saying? But I know like I said, the purpose is what wakes me up, but it's also what keeps me up.
Mm-hmm.
At what point, like after everything you've accomplished, at what point did it stop feeling like work for you?
What point did it stop feeling like work? I would say maybe when my book went #1 on Amazon. It was a few years ago. It was my book, Dear Queen. And all the other books started going to the next level as a result of it. So it stopped feeling like a lot of work, and the work became enjoyable. But, you know, everybody, once you write a book or once you start your conference or once you start something great, you want it to go to #1 immediately. But sometimes it takes, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens through the night and through the night seasons of the years and the years of the toil and the sweat equity that you put in. You finally do see the fruit of your labor. But it still sometimes feels like work. You know what I'm saying? You know, me building this conference from the ground up. Oh, it's work for sure.
Right.
But it's enjoyable.
I want
good
to
work.
ask you a question about that.
Yeah.
Do you ever get to the point where you're just doing the work? It's not like you're putting in the work. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Okay, let me give you an example. So I have people all the time to say, have you ever had a book signing? And it's like, no. I just write the book and keep going to the next project. So do you ever find yourself just working where you don't stop to celebrate the thing that you that's in front of you? Yeah.
I am the poster child. I live by the Jay-Z song, it's on to the next one. Yeah. You know, I very do pause for the cause of celebration. I do more dedication than anything, and you know, a lot of people say, "Hey, you know, you burn yourself out," but I think it's rejuvenating to me because when I get that spark of energy or that inspiration, I catch lightning in a bottle. I got to keep going, and you know, it's about, you know, not so much the awards as doing it for a reward.
Yes,
that's what it's about for me.
Yes.
Out of all your 16 books, what's your favorite one?
My favorite one, it's like asking me. I'm not a father, but it was like asking me if I had as many kids as Nick Cannon. Which one is my favorite one?
Now listen, you don't have any children yet, but I'm gonna tell you, who's gonna have a favorite one. You just don't tell them that.
Yeah, true.
I tell mine.
I tell my son.
Everybody got a favorite.
I got a favorite.
That is true.
I'm my grandma's favorite. They know that.
Yeah.
I'm my auntie's favorite.
They know that.
That was definitely my mother's favorite.
It used to be Dear Queen because it was so popular, but I got to go with The Mask of Masculinity. It's this one came out just last year, and it is about really how men can reclaim their identity, lead in love with loyalty. The prefix of masculinity is pronounced mask, and I think for us as men, we shroud ourselves. We use the mask of money, your Mercedes, your phone book full of ladies to hide the hurting boy inside. And
Bars.
oh yeah, I didn't even realize what I said.
I didn't even catch it.
I didn't even realize it,
Looking
man.
at that book too. Like, asked about that one. So, hell yeah.
And so, you know, it just addresses the fears, the father wounds, the frustrations, the failures that we deal with as men, but also how women can create a safe space and place for men to be vulnerable and be able to open up. And I think as men, we're more like T'Challa than Black Panther. We're more like Clark Kent than Superman. We're more like David Banner than the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, beyond all those superpowers, beyond the caricature, I think it's really the essence of our character that really makes us who we are. And I think real men are ones. A man is someone who is mature, assertive, and is a nurturer. And so it became freedom for me. I wrote what I needed the most.
Well, speaking on that book, when you notice that you were raised by a strong woman, but then there are a lot of men that were hurt by their mothers.
Yeah.
So you see that side of men that need to be healed, but they choose not to be healed. So what do you say to those type of men coming from the opposite side where you had a strong mother, and y'all had a great relationship versus men that they had a mom in their life, but that relationship is not good?
Yeah, I would say, there is strength in numbers, and I think you have to seek out what it is that you desire the most. It's like a man who would have friends got to show himself friendly. And for us as men, sometimes we got to put ourselves around other mentors, other individuals, and understand that getting help does not mean that we're less than a man.
Yes.
Going to therapy,
That part.
being around other brothers who can build you and lift you up, who are not going to judge you, but who are going to really help to improve you. And I think when we, just take off the cape becomes a chokehold. When we take off the mask, we'll really be able to heal from our past, because if not, we'll bleed on people who didn't cut us.
More bars.
Whoa.
More bars.
More bars.
Absolutely.
Listen, I need somebody
Hitting
to like
chords?
I need somebody to really preach that.
Oh, that's real.
Yes.
Lead on to other people that ain't do nothing to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Man,
Maybe that's another conference.
There it is.
Yo, there you go.
I'm just envisioning myself looking at that mirror
Like a
right now
man's
as he talks.
Man, listen,
men's
For real, I needed this
like,
conversation.
we needed this conversation. Like when I say this didn't, and this is why we have these episodes. Like people ask us all the time, like, "Oh, what's the topic?" We don't have a topic.
Just let it
Wow.
move.
Yeah. Organic conversation.
That's there's our secret right there. Y'all want to know what we doing here? This is what we doing.
It's a secret sauce right there.
Well, you don't get a
Can't
topic
tamper
when
with
you show
this.
Table talk every week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just with the name of the show.
Must be
How can you really put a topic on that?
Well, you can always put topics
I
on
mean,
it
you
and
can put a
talk both
topic
sides.
and talk both sides, but it's just.
But I like
we
y'all
like
flow
that. Yeah,
here.
we like that. Like we like raw conversation. Like we talk, but we don't talk about what we gonna talk about on the show. Like we been cut that out because now it becomes scripted. So now we coming in with
Generic answers.
generic answers when it's too much generic being put out, and it needs to get back to being raw. Like I said, I come from the church. I know better with certain things, but people be failing to realize Jesus only went to the church twice in the Bible. Once when he was lost, and the second time he went and tore it up. At this point, you know what I'm saying? At this point, it's too many people who playing. And those of our age range, we starting to kind of, it's getting back to us, because we just talked about this last week when we left the show. Like, hey, it's time for us to kind of get back to church. It's getting a little too morally upsetting out here. You know what I'm saying? That conviction is starting to hit. But here's the thing. Dr. Eddie can't go talk to the fellas like I can go talk to the fellas, because first off, appearance not gonna relate. The very first thing, oh, he too smooth, he got a suit on. You see what I'm saying? I've gotten myself to a point to where God has put me to where you can go be a chameleon in any room, but you still gonna be who you are, and you're gonna attract whoever it is that I seen. It don't matter. Y'all heard me talk about it all the time. When it comes to homeless and drug addicts, I'd rather you tell me the truth, and I'm still gonna give you this money just to let you know I'm not here to. I don't have no heaven or no hell to put you in, or no jail cell to put you in. And when you go back to when you say bleed on other people, that's what that is. When you haven't healed and you bleed on the other people, you're putting them in your own form of heaven, hell, or jail cell. And who gives you that right to do any of that? You know?
Truly.
Okay. Got a question for you, Dr. Connor. First off, Marvel or DC? Which one? Because I see you mentioned superheroes, so which one?
I got to go Marvel. I think Black Panther and all that was on Marvel. Yeah. Marvel just got a different type of swag with it.
That's cool. All right, we're going to turn to DC real quick, though. Superman or Batman?
Oh.
Man, that Dark Knight series, bro. I gotta go with Batman, man.
You know what?
Batman.
See, my guy.
I could watch that every day.
Hey, that wasn't
that's
was
just
a trilogy.
The cinema, man. The photography of it, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Your Mount Rushmore of motivational speakers. You can put yourself in if you want to.
Rushmore. Okay. I got to go T.D. Jakes. I got to go, let me see. I guess I got to go Tony Robbins. He's got some stuff.
Ooh, I was just thinking about his wife.
I got to go with him. Man. E.T. Yeah, I got to go with him.
Love E.T.
Wow, that's different. E.T.
I'm gonna just
I'm gonna go Deion Sanders. I'm gonna just throw a wild card on that, and then I'm gonna throw me in that too. I'm gonna throw me in that equation too. You know what I'm saying?
I can see why you said. I can see why you said Prime. Though. I like how you do.
I'm gonna just throw a wild card in there.
Yeah, you want to promote anything as far as in this conference you have going on? Or
I gotta let them know about the new book is coming out.
Can you tell us about the books in front of you?
Yeah, most definitely. Mask of Masculinity alluded to that a little bit. Really redefining what manhood is all about from a context that is not so much materials, the immaterial self. Dear Queen, this is my second volume, volume 2. This is a second iteration, which is all about how to wear your crown, walk in authority and authenticity. This kind of brings not just the females into the conversation, but also the men. You know, we heard a lot of hypermasculinity, misogyny, alpha male affinity, high value male type of stuff. Yeah, narcissism, all that. And really just want to celebrate the beauty of black women. Malcolm X said, the most neglected, unprotected, and disrespected woman on the planet is the black woman. Mm-hmm. And so to really speak life into the lives of our sisters and let them know real queens don't compete, they collaborate.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not just chasing a man, they focus on their purpose and plan.
I put that on my Facebook page today.
Y'all hear that, right?
Real queens understand that their royalty demands loyalty. They're too unique to compete, too rare to compare. As a result, they wear their crown, they build their queendom in the kingdom of God. And then this one ain't even out yet. Okay. Who Can Find a Faithful Man, coming out June 15th. Okay. I wrote this one. I was doing a men's conference and actually looking at the dichotomy of the scriptures, Proverbs 31 and Proverbs 20, verse 6. And the video went viral on social media. It's about 1.5 million views or something like that on Instagram. And from podcasts to panels, from churches to conferences, we always hear, who can find a virtuous woman?
I'm so sick of them using that when it comes to singles ministry. It's like, so you're going to keep talking to the woman. We getting ourselves together. What about the man?
Exactly.
Just a couple of scriptures down. They talk to the man.
Yeah, and so I said, I want to go to Proverbs 20, verse 6. When 20 comes before 31, I'm more English than math, but I know a little math.
Exactly.
Who can find a faithful man?
Faithful.
And sisters want brothers want sisters to be virtuous. Sisters want brothers to be faithful.
Yeah.
Both generations, both genders are asking who can find. Mm-hmm. They talking about is pee in the pool, a dating pool. Mm-hmm. But we both asking who can find.
We bumped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question while we're on this. When you talk about
Miss Carmen, we can't.
We almost done?
No, we gotta wrap it up. We gotta.
Oh, I have to save it for the table.
So the tenor of the book is, are we preparing women for unprepared men? And if so, let's prepare brothers for the right one. And they got to be right for themselves. So all these books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Audible as well. Yeah.
Before we get out of here, we want to thank Carmen from Detroit Paper Talk.
Thank you for having me.
June 25th, we will be at Keys to the City again.
Shout out, Big Keys.
Shouts out to the team. This must be two sides. We definitely appreciate you, Dr. Eddie Connor.
Appreciate the opportunity.
August 5th.
Yeah. AccessIdentity.org. Register right now.
To get that, how much is it off?
Yeah, $50 off. Put in the code. $47 total when you register. $50 off. Put in the code ACCESS at checkout.
All righty, this must be 2 sides. We out here.